We are live in a VO's journey. It is great to have you. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. It is Monday. I've got my coffee. I've got a pen today instead of the ceremonial pencil, but I'm excited anyways. And, happy Monday. It is what is the day? March 9th. I am very excited about talking to you today about what style should you specialize in voiceover. I get this question a lot. A lot of people, especially a lot of people who join my Facebook group, always ask the question, where do I fit in? What style should I do? How do I know that my voice fits this particular style? Or should I do this? How do I get into this style? There's so much to so many different options out there. So I thought I would take time to do a video today on what, style should you specialize in. So first off, I'd like to take a moment before we start to make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Also, if you're on Twitter or Facebook or so close, I think last time I checked, we were at 940 or 945. So thank you very much. It's wonderful and amazing that we have so much people that are watching and getting good information. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, I want to start off by at least recognizing what are the styles that are out there available. Now, I've set up a couple different things, so we're going to see if this works. So let's see. Bam! Look at that. We've got pictures and everything today. So, you know me, I like to work with things. So on the screen, you'll see these are some voiceover styles. Now, I put the main ones because this is by no means an exhaustive list. I think because within all of these different categories, now if you're on Instagram, you're not able to see this, but basically I'll go through it. I've put up 9 different voiceover styles, and I would say that the majority of all work kind of falls within those voiceover styles. So we have video narration, we've got radio commercials, TV commercials, or radio, PSA public service announcements. We've got eLearning, phone system or IVR. We've got impersonation. You could probably put dubbing in there as well. Audiobook, fiction or nonfiction work. We've got video game work, character work, and I put down kind of other narration. Podcasting is a very big thing right now. People hiring voice actors to narrate their podcast for them and put intros and outros together. So that's a big thing, as well as YouTube videos, narration for YouTube videos. But that kind of falls under video narration. But these are kind of the top styles that you could probably say without a doubt that these are the top styles out there in voiceover right now. Some are definitely growing faster than others, but when you're starting out, you're kind of thinking, or even if you're not starting out and you're trying to look around and say, I'm doing things, but I'm not exactly happy, or I don't know where I fit in. These are where you need to start. You need to start with what's available. All right. And, we're going to go kind of into these and talk about what I think you should do. Kind of some rules of thumb that I've used and I've helped other people use. But when you're looking at them for these categories, just note that all of these do kind of mix together in a way, right? They all use similar tones, because when we go to styles, we're talking about these categories, right? When we talk about tones, meaning like how you express emotion, how you express an idea through your voice, okay, which is different than these styles here, right? So each one of you could use a tone, like a conversational tone, for each one of these. Okay, so the tones and everything that we use kind of fit, but I will say that each one of these different styles, they do have an unspoken set of rules. They do have an unspoken way of being set up, like a beginning, middle, and an end. Like, now, what I didn't put on here, actually, now that I was thinking about that, which is so silly of me, is movie trailers. Because movie trailers is really a big thing. You could kind of put that under video narration, but not really. Movie trailers would be one that I didn't put up, but is clearly a main voiceover style on here. But the thing with movie trailers, right, is it's very specialized work. And we all think of that, first thing that pops into everybody's mind, is like in a world, right? That kind of movie trailer voice. But, that's again a very specialized style that has a unique set of unspoken rules about, how it should be done. Or more importantly, it's what people expect. Right? Because people like familiarity. It's what people expect. And the same with the rest of these. Just like video narration or e-learning or corporate narration, that would probably go under e-learning there, or, podcasting and phone system and IVR. I mean, a lot of those we expect to hear a certain thing. Commercials, we expect to hear them done a certain way. Okay, yes, we applaud outside of the box things, but the reality is that we like a little bit of that, but the rest of it, we like to keep the same thing that they used to do, I think, back in Shakespeare's day, and that's take something that's already done, put a little bit of a unique twist on it, but don't vary too much, or it's going to be too awkward and too new. So I think that this is a good place for you to start and looking. Now, let's go ahead and I'm going to switch this over and I'm going to go there. Bam! Look at that. I'm in the middle. I found a way to do the middle. So let's look at the options. This is really funny, right? Because I'm like right in the middle. Let's look at the options. The options section, which now I like to put these two options up, okay? So the first option you have when trying to figure out what style you should specialize in, I think, is do what you love. Right? If you've always wanted to be an audiobook narrator, do that, or a video game actor, be a video game actor. Doing what you love, all right, will definitely help you keep going when it becomes difficult. And make no mistake, this becomes difficult. Okay? Let me go ahead, because this is actually, at least that's a little bit better, right? Ooh. It's very. So anyways, so that's the first thing, is do what you love when you're trying to figure this out. I work with a lot of people who definitely use this one. And this is probably the first thing that we all think about, because we want to get into this, get into voiceover because we're excited about doing something. The biggest one that I always come across that people want to get into is video game narration. Everybody wants to get into video game or character work or et cetera, et cetera. That's the kind of thing that everybody wants to get into. And they're always asking, well, how do I get involved into it? How do I get into it? I see stuff happening for all these other things, but I don't see video game work, really as accessible as the other styles. And we'll talk about that a little bit, but the answer to that is yes, you are correct. Video game work and character work is not as accessible because, and this is just my humble opinion after doing this for many years, what you have is you have the popular and the majority of the video games and things that you see, right? They come from very large video game companies that really corner the market, right? There's really just a few. Yes, there's more than one or two, but there's not a great deal. And even the indie game developers, which are massive, okay, there's many indie game developers. Still, they always kind of follow the same suit, which they're always going through a production agency. They're always going to go through someone to help them put the audio and the voiceovers together. So, since the majority of that, you got some big companies, they're going to follow the same suit. So they're going to be working with agencies, with studios. And, so that's something just to be aware of. That's really kind of, it is unique. It's very unique, I will admit. And I've been doing this for a while. And I would say the toughest industry right now in voiceover to get into would be the video game industry. Just because, it is, like I said, you have some main big companies who control most of the video games, and they follow a certain set of rules and guidelines that they use. So anyways, but let's continue to go through the second option, which is do what the market hires you to do. Dive into each style and see what the market hires you for. This is what I recommend a lot of people do, because you might come into voiceover with, you want to do movie trailers or you want to do audiobooks, but you don't mind trying other things because it's all fun, it could be neat. So you're willing to put yourself out there. So in this method, what you do is you dive into each one of these genres that I put up. So let's go, bam, there it is again. We're each one of these styles. So stupid. I know it is, but it's funny. I crack myself up. So anyways, you basically put yourself out there, try to go and do each one of these and see what the market hires you for. It is interesting to see what actually the market will hire you for. Because you will get work, and you will be surprised what people hire you for. Do you know what I mean? Like, really, you'll be surprised. When I first started, I really believed that I was going to be a video game character actor. I wanted to do video games, and and I've had the fortunate honor to do some, but I've not worked on any major ones. But I've worked on some indie games, and but when I first started out, I wanted to also get work, right? Because if you look at the bottom there, we're going to get into that in a second about building a business or a hobby. But the reality is I started putting myself out there to do other things like audiobooks, because listen, I wanted to do characters, so I thought, well, audiobooks would be a great place to do characters, right? So I did that, and because of that, I was able to, start getting a lot of work with audiobooks. So then audiobook work for me started taking off. Then I started finding character work in other areas besides than just video game work. So, I started doing like evil characters for Halloween and different things for like theme parks and schools and marching bands and whatever I could do character work for. Apps. I didn't put apps on there, which I should be ashamed of myself, because apps is a very big part of what we do now as well. So apps is, I've done a lot of character work for apps. Okay, because there's a lot more app developers that probably do a lot of work by themselves just because of the financial commitment. But the reality is that I started to get hired in other areas because of myself just putting out my work. So that leads me down to, let me go ahead and get rid of that. That leads me down to the bottom part here, okay, which is the question you have to ask. And this is a really important question, I think, is, are you trying to build a business or are you trying to build a hobby? I mean, think about that, right? Because a business pays you and a hobby, you pay it, right? You lose money with a hobby, and you should be making money and making a profit with a business. And the reason why this is such an important question is because, when you are looking at services that you are offering people, your voiceover services, if you want to be, maybe you want to narrate John Clancy novels. Did I say John? I should be ashamed. Tom Clancy. I apologize. I don't know where I got John from. Tom Clancy novels. Okay. And, that's been your dream. And, you're just really into that kind of, guns and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, the point is that that's what you want to do. You've always wanted to do it. But you find that narrating that, it's going to take you a while to be able to break into, that very specific specialized voiceover. So in the meantime, building a business in voiceover services, you're going to have to branch out and do work in other areas in order to start bringing in revenue and income so that you can continue to grow your business, so that you can target and put more focus into becoming better, building the contacts, getting the representation you might need in order to work on a Tom Clancy novel. So I think that, when we look at this, that question is probably one of the most important ones. Are you building a business or are you building a hobby? If you are building a hobby, that's fine. Do everything you can do, but because there are sites out there, like casting sites, where you can work on indie video games as a character actor for free, right? They don't pay you. And you can do that. There's many sites out there. But again, this is one of those things again, where are you doing this as a hobby or are you doing this as a business? Now, I don't want to say that you won't ever get that work, but the reality is it's going to take time and certain specializations, really a lot of time. And in order to get there, you've got to generate some money. You got to generate some revenue. So diving into some of these other places will help you know whether or not you'll get hired to do them, and also whether you can make some money. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. All right, so I I hope that helps when it comes to thinking about, where to start when looking to find what you should specialize in. But I do want to talk a little bit about training. Because I think training is really important, right? You might come from a broadcast background. And whether you did it specifically or not, you're trained on, speaking in a certain way, putting forth a certain type of character, whereas other voiceover genres might not be as easy for you to do because you have spent the majority of your background doing one specific thing and it's become a habit for you. You might have an acting background where you did a specific type of work. Maybe you did character work. Maybe you were a straight character actor and now you're being asked to do conversational real voiceover work and you have, that comes very unnatural to you. Maybe you are a, straight leading role, leading male or leading female, and now you're being asked to do character work that you've never done character work. You've only ever played yourself. Maybe you have no background with that. Maybe you're a civil engineer. Maybe you're a school teacher. Maybe you have no acting background or no broadcast background at all, but you always have heard people say, hey, you have a really good voice. You should do voiceover. So you jumped in to try to find out what it is. All of these different things, they all bring in some sort of training in your background, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't attempt to do as much as possible in order to find where you might fit in, where you can generate revenue in order to, again, even pay for what you're trying to get to. Maybe you do really want to build a YouTube. Maybe you want to be the person. Maybe you want to be the gal who narrates, YouTube videos about cars. Maybe that's what you want to do, and that's great. But to get there, you've got to continue to try to build up your business to fund your efforts to get to that one special place, that one specialized area in voiceover. Now, I want to bring up one other topic because you might be like, man, this is a lot. I want to do this, I want to do that, but it seems like it's going to take me a long, long time. Or, for example, you might be like, I don't want to move to LA. Everybody told me if I want to be a character actor, like a real character actor in top video games, I need to move out to LA, or I need to move out to New York or something. I've got to go to these places. I got to do this. And, there's a lot of truth in that. Okay. But here's the thing, and I really want to be honest with you. There is a unifying thing now, if we could say thing. There's something now in our society today that never existed before that trumps all of this stuff. Meaning that, that can push you to the head of the line for all of these things, video games, audiobooks, anything you list. And that's one word. It's a simple word, but it is very difficult, and it's called brand. Building a brand, okay, today can remove all of your obstacles. Now, it is not easy. It's extremely hard. And basically what I'm trying to say is that brand is like how popular you are. Like how popular is your brand? How well known is your brand? Okay? Building that. Now, I didn't say that was easy. This might actually even be one of the hardest things to do. But what it does is you become more than just someone who is a name on a roster, right? You become an idea. You bring a following. You have people who know you and recognize you and want to hear more from you. I mean, if we just start off by talking about some of the most famous people we know who got their start on YouTube by becoming popular, or Instagram, and now TikTok. I mean, it's an unreal. I was watching a show just the other day, a couple days ago, about this young girl who's so popular. She has millions of followers on TikTok. She put on that she was going to be at this mall. And I mean, there was tens of thousands of people of all ages showed up just to see this girl who's famous for doing, music video, like just doing, little videos, 60-second or less videos on TikTok. That is power, because you cannot pay for that. I mean, like, that is unbelievable, right? And when you have something like that you have that brand, that power behind you, then you don't understand the companies, they want you. They will come to you and they will pay you because you are going to bring the people to them. We are all trying to do the same thing in the end. We are all trying to get in front of as many eyeballs as possible, right? We're all trying to get everyone's attention, whether you're a massive brand, whether you're a huge video game, whether you're an indie publisher, no matter who you are, okay, a retail box store, an online supplement store, no matter who you are, what you're doing, we're all trying to get attention. We're all trying to get people's attention. So if you can bring attention, people will knock down the door to work with you. But again, I brought up brand because I think it's important to note that there are exceptions to all of these rules, but those are very slim. But you might be the person who wants to do that. You might want to brand yourself as, the character girl, the character gal or whatever. You might want to be that person who does these kooky type of characters, and you spread yourself and brand yourself all over the internet by making these little cute videos that you make on your own, and you become very popular. And then brands and companies and video games, they approach you to work with you, or you reach out to them and they say, wow, look at, you've got, hundreds of thousands of followers on, like, this stuff happens. It happens all the time. People pay all the time. This is the new way that the world works. If you didn't know that, I'm sure you already knew that, but if you didn't, the way the world works is this. It's the amount of money going through social media is unreal. It's unparalleled to anything in history. And your brand can bring you so much power when it comes to leveraging attention and eyeballs. So I wanted to bring that up just so, you have another option of a way to go. Again, that's probably, it's one of the hardest options, but it does allow you to actually, command what you want, because you have the attention, you have the people, you have the following. In essence, you become your own product, and and you have your own following. Your following is your product. Okay. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up because I think that was important. So with all that said, I've been talking for a while. I hope this helps out. If anybody has any questions or thoughts or comments, I'd love for you to go ahead and ask them and post them now. But again, if you are confused about where to specialize in voiceover, the two things that I put up, let me put them up again because I really think these help out. The first option is do what you love. If you want to be an audiobook narrator, start doing that. Go to ACX, go to Find Away Voices, go to, they've got like Ahab from Penguin Audio. Go to these different sites and, or even contact, because if you go to these big publishers, they have places on their sites where voice artists can contact them to be on their rosters. Go do it. That's one option of doing. If you want to be a video game character actor, then start learning about how to get into that industry. Start making contacts. I mean, a lot of these things, just like anything else, are contacts, and that industry is very very heavily based around contacts who you know. So that that's another option. But you can also put yourself out there and see where the market hires you. And then where you get hired, you can double down on it. Maybe you just, for whatever reason, or maybe, you went to school and you're a nurse, okay? And, or, you studied, you're a nurse, or your family was in the medical field or whatever, and you have an uncanny ability to pronounce medical words very well. You can pronounce them as if you're just talking conversationally with them. All right. Medical narration is a big business because so many people are not good at saying, medical vocabulary. Maybe you can do that. All right. Also, there are people who have entire careers just doing political voiceovers. Okay, so finding where the market hires you and then diving into that is a great way to also learn where you should specialize in voiceover. And as always, remember, you're building a business or you're building a hobby. A business is something that pays you make money, you make a profit, and a hobby is where you lose money. Okay? So sometimes when you're building, if you're building a business where you're looking at profit, you have to understand that it's important to generate revenue, whether we always enjoy all of it all the time or not. Okay? Because it's not about us, it's about the customers, right? It's about what they want. And where all of this meets, right, is that we really enjoy giving the customer what they want. Okay, that's what we're all trying to do, everybody. All right, so that's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see if there's anything here. We've got lots of people. Thank you so much, everybody on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We've got Sam, we've got Stephanie, we've got Walter, we've got Success to Successful Trade on Instagram. Thank you guys for watching. We got Samir on YouTube, Switch, what's up? Scott, hey, Marcus, Artist, John, what's up? Beth, hey Beth, Switch, I'm definitely best at character work. Nice. Rich, leverage that, man. Leverage it. Be putting yourself out there as much as possible. Another thing about all this stuff is that, if you are not being seen, then you're not being seen. And I know that's silly to say, but think about it. If you're not being seen, meaning you're not putting stuff out there for people to see, you're not being seen. No one will see you. No one will know you exist. And I hate to be, it's not trying to be mean about it, but no one will know you exist. So you have to put your own stuff out there. You can work with agents, and that's fine. But, they'll be the first one to tell you, too, don't just rely on them. They've got a lot of other people. Be someone that an agent would want to work with. Okay, be someone that also, and I talk about agents, real, like live people agents, but also online agents like voices.com and all these different sites. Okay, these sites also are like online agencies, but don't rely on all these people to do all the work for you. Make it one part of your business. All right, where you're also putting yourself out in other places. You're creating these little snippets. You're making samples and posting them places. Let's see. Rich says the Ant-Man in the middle. And he says, I want to do corporate work. Nice. Well, you need to start learning all about corporate work. What does that mean? What kind of corporate narration do you want to do? Do you want to do corporate work like, you narrate big companies and their missions? Are you doing e-learning for those companies? Are you doing presentations? What is it about that? And then find out where the majority of that work is going. And that's how you can go find that. But, it's going to take time. Let's see. Embodied entertainment. Our voiced by Jason. What's up, man? Embodied entertainment. Can you dive deep into what exactly is e-learning? Is that like corporate training videos? And that's technically just narration too, right? Yeah, thank you for that question. So yes, e-learning would be like corporate training videos. Think of e-learning as, it's just e-learning is anything that you are going to be. Well, let me back up. I would say e-learning in the traditional sense would be where you take a course online, right, that has slides. Most people, when they think of e-learning, thinks of like multiple slides that is trying to teach you some sort of training, some sort of like, for example, if you were hired by Ford to do an online course on how to put together a carburetor or fix a carburetor or something, right? So there would be slides with information on those slides and you would be narrating them, right? That's like, that's what we all think of e-learning as being. But as time goes on, just like everything else, e-learning becomes, can become mixed with other things. Like you talked about corporate training videos, that, right? But it becomes narration too, right? Narration is, when I say video narration, I'm talking specifically about when you are narrating video footage, not necessarily like you're narrating corporate training videos, even though that could be a video embedded in there. in general, it's a different type. It's considered a different type. Okay, does that make sense? So, but in the end, it's all narration. I mean, like all of this is you're narrating something. So unless you're doing like IVR or something, but. So yeah, good question. But that's e-learning. Okay. Let's see. JK. So you actually on the e-learning side, you might be doing e-learning and you don't even realize it. Do you know what I mean? Like you might be doing e-learning and you don't even realize. Like for example, I do a lot of e-learning for like Circle K. I don't know if you know about that. I'm sure you've heard of the company Circle K. But I do a lot of e-learning for them, a lot of internal work for their customers and things. So, it's just, it can be based on anything. It could be, so anything you're learning online, right? It's kind of what that revolves around. Let's see. Do you narrate mainly with your shotgun mic, or do you use your RE20 for narration work? Anytime I do something professionally for a client, I'm always using my shotgun mic in my booth. So I do not, I use this for my live work. I use this for video work. I use this for coaching and one-on-one sessions and things like that. But I don't ever use this just because the space. Now, if my space was really treated well, I could use this more. And I probably could get away with doing some audiobook work here. But the majority but all the work I do professionally for clients is inside my booth with my shotgun mic. Let's see. Rich says, what's up? Flip says, sup? What's up, man? Switch says, I know that getting character work with video games and whatnot are hard to get into. So I'm meeting with comic book artists and making things happen myself. That's wonderful. I mean, that's exactly what you got to do. And I would recommend, though, if you really want to do that stuff, find the people who are doing it and do what you have to do to get work, to get in with them. Because there's so many different ways to do all this, right? I mean, it's in the end, it's just how bad do you want it? How persistent are you? And are you willing to keep going when everybody else quits, right? Are you willing to do all the stuff no one else is willing to do? Okay. I would like to do sports narration or sports and inspirational videos. Awesome. So, Rich, I would suggest that you start doing your own. And there's something too, don't wait. I mean, I kind of like switch that. I mean, don't wait for it just to randomly happen. Start putting your own together. Learn how to put your own together so that you can start doing samples of it and start, offering that. Imagine you build an entire YouTube channel around, the inspirational YouTube channel. I love inspirational videos. I watch them all the time. So do so many people. It's so popular. Okay, don't wait, or use that. Contact those YouTube channels and say, hey, I'm an inspirational voiceover artist. I like to do inspirational work. Here's some of my work. You got to have some great samples, though, to show them, right? You got, and I'm not talking about you have to have videos narrated per se, but you got to have some great samples, which you're going to have to make on your own. Okay, but don't wait. Contact them. Contact them on your own. They're all out there. We can find. It's easy to find them. Rich, video documentary narration. What shotgun mic do you use in your booth? I use the Sennheiser 416. That's what I have in my booth. All right, you guys, anything over here on Instagram? It looks good. Well, hey, thank you so much for watching today. And if you, again, haven't had a chance yet, please hit that subscribe button. If you're on Twitter, whatever, retweet this, please. If you are on Facebook, go ahead and share it and everything. But thank you again so much. Happy Monday. And I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, have a good one. Goodbye. Goodbye.